What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and this is the detail speed test between the LG G6 and the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. So as always, we'll be looking at everything from Geekbench scores to camera launch, then moving on to some standard apps, then games, and finally finishing off with some multitasking tests. Now before we start, a few disclaimers. The S8 Plus that I have here is the Exynos version, and that is the only version available to me here in the UK. But as far as I'm aware, it's got very similar performance to the Snapdragon 835, if not a little bit better. Also, for this test, I have set the S8 Plus to Quad HD, not the standard Full HD which is set to on default, and this is to match the Quad HD resolution of the LG G6 and make things as fair as possible. Now, although I'm using the S8 Plus for this test, the S8 performs exactly the same and has the exact same internals. Finally, both devices have been upgraded to the latest software versions available at the time of this video, and if you want to pick up skins like I've got here on the S8 Plus and the LG G6, then definitely check out our sponsor for this video, which is Dbrand Skins. I'll be leaving a link to them in the description below. Now starting off with Geekbench for results, here you can see that the S8 Plus scores higher in both the single and multi-core scores. Moving on to camera launch, both devices have a shortcut. It's double pressing the volume down key on the LG G6 and double pressing the power button on the S8 Plus. Doing these both at the same time, it's clear that the S8 Plus here is quicker. Slowing this down, you can see again that the S8 Plus is quicker in launching the camera compared to the G6. And now for the app tests. You can see here that we've got nothing open in the background, and this is the list of apps we'll be using. Starting off with the calculator, which was pretty much neck and neck. We're going to do a simple calculation and leave that in the background. Let's move on to the Chrome browser, and we're going to be going on to the BBC News website, mainly because the website doesn't have any adverts, and this way we'll be displaying the exact same content on both devices. So going on to them at the same time. Does finish first on the S8 Plus. Let's accept the cookies and let's open the most recent article here. Pretty much neck and neck, maybe a tad quicker on the S8 Plus. Now let's move on to Instagram. They actually seem to finish ever so slightly quicker on the LG G6. Going onto my profile and opening an image, pretty much neck and neck. I couldn't really see much of a difference between the two. Now let's move on to Twitter. That did seem to finish first on the G6 here, but when we go into notifications, quicker on the S8 Plus. So kind of a draw so far. Let's move on to YouTube. Now we've got some different content on the home page, so we won't take this test into consideration, and let's go on to some trending videos. There's a video here from Gizmo Slip, my buddy Brandon, and it does start playing first on the S8 Plus, but we've got an advert on the G6, so we can't take this test into consideration either. Let's try a different video. So we've got this trailer here. Pretty much neck and neck, maybe ever so slightly quicker on the S8 Plus. Right, so it's been very close here, so we're going to move on to games. As you can see, we've got this timer here, so we can see exactly how much difference there is. And we're starting off with Angry Birds 2. This finishes first on the S8 Plus. Not too much in it though, so let's move on to the next game, which is Temple Run 2. Once again, we have this timer, and we start seeing the image first on the G6. Let's see which one finishes. And it was the S8 Plus, ever so slightly quicker. Now we're going to play the game and we'll leave it open in the background. Let's move on to the next game, which is Subway Surfers. Once again, we start seeing the intro screen first on the G6. And we're not speeding this up just so we can see exactly how long it takes. Finishes first on the S8 Plus, but only ever so slightly. I think there was just over a second in between them. Now moving on to the last game, which is Dead Trigger 2. We see the intro screen first on the S8 Plus a couple of seconds before. Now we'll play both as well. We have another timer, and we'll see which one of these finishes loading the full game up first. the S8 Plus once again. The LG G6 coming in a few seconds later. So I think we're seeing a bit of a trend here with the S8 Plus loading all the games faster, not hugely, but definitely faster compared to the G6. Now we're just going to test out the multitasking, so we'll see which apps are still open. Chrome is open, the calculator was also open, Instagram in the same place on the picture that we left it, and Twitter in the same place, and notifications, YouTube on the same video. We can start playing that video again, and we'll move on to Angry Birds 2 in the same place. Temple Run 2 within the game itself, so we can resume the game here. Subway Surfers in the same place, we can also resume. And finally Dead Trigger 2 in the same place. So guys, that's the detail speed test between the LG G6 and the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now I've got some interesting results. I think for some of your standard apps, it was pretty much a draw, with some apps quicker on the LG G6 and others quicker on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. But when it came to games, the clear winner was the S8 Plus, but not by a huge deal. Now the Snapdragon 835 may produce some different results, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, I don't know. But unfortunately, I don't have one of those to test out at the moment. What's interesting is that the LG G6 still doesn't do too bad, especially considering that it's got last year's Snapdragon 821. What did you guys think of these results? Definitely drop me a comment below, let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me, it really does help me out. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe, there's plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching, this is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.